Hey, this is Dan Blewett. We're going to talk real quick about breaking balls and youth pitchers and my policy regarding that. So, number one, a lot of parents hear, oh, youth athletes or youth pitchers should never throw breaking balls. And in general, I agree. The research shows that biomechanically, curveballs are less stressful on the arm, but kids who throw them report more elbow pain. So, it's sort of the verdict is sort of out as far as is it a worse pitch on the arm? Research sort of says no. However, from a pitchability standpoint, I think kids in the middle school age or below throwing breaking balls, it hurts their ability to learn to pitch because no one that age can hit a wrinkly pitch, and so it doesn't teach them to change speeds well. It doesn't teach them to locate well, and the changeup is something every pitcher is going to need, no matter how good they end up being. Pretty much everyone in the big leagues throws a changeup unless they're an upper 90s thrower. So it's good to work on that earlier in the career when it's going to put less stress on the arm. That's number one. So for middle schoolers, we advise all parents 70% fastballs, 30% changeups, 0% breaking balls. And we don't teach a breaking ball. We don't indulge anyone until they're in high school age. Now, when you get to high school, a lot of freshmen and sophomores are still physically immature. So people say, oh, should you teach those kids curveballs? I think the answer is yes. And the reason is it's kind of akin to the abstinence discussion. So obviously it's been a massive debate throughout time that, you know, do we teach kids about safe sex or do we tell them that it should be no sex? I think it's safe sex because you can't prevent people from doing what they're going to do. In this example, there's so many coaches that are going to have kids throwing curveballs when they're 9, 10, 11. That doesn't make it right, but it makes it prevalent. Kids are going to want to throw breaking balls as a freshman and sophomore. All their peers, for the most part, are going to do so. And so our belief is that we should teach them to pitch the right way. So they're not throwing the doorknob curveball or the doorknob slider that's going to put more stress on the arm. We're going to teach them the pro style curveball, the pitch that's going to be with them the rest of their life. Okay, so we want to teach it to them when they're a freshman, sophomore, but we just completely make sure they know it's not the pitch to be relied upon yet. So freshmen, sophomores, 70% fastball, 20% changeup. They still need to develop that pitch first and foremost, and 10% breaking balls. So they throw a 60, 70 pitch outing. That's 6 or 7 or 8 breaking balls in that outing. That's not many. That's not going to ruin anyone's arm. But what this is going to do, if your son or daughter, if your son is good as a freshman, sophomore, and scouts come to watch him pitch as a junior, if he's never learned a breaking ball, it's not going to be very good when they come to watch him. So if your son throws 88 miles an hour as a junior, a lot of coaches are going to come watch him. If he does not have a breaking ball, he might not be to be a D1 pitcher. So it behooves you to teach it and learn it where he's got 2 years to develop it. And then when he's a junior, senior, 70% fastballs, 30% mix of off speed. So it could be changeup, it could be slider, it could be curveball, whatever he wants. That's pretty much the big league mix. The big league mix is 60 to 65% fastballs on average and 30 to 35%, 30 to 35 to 40% off-speed pitches on average. So at that point, he's sort of free to throw whatever pitch he wants, whenever he wants. You know, there's really no reason to go above 35% off-speed, especially at the high school level. But if he wants to throw 25% curveballs or sliders, I think he's free to do so at that point. Physical maturity is going to be, growth plates are going to be closed typically by that age range. So this, I believe, is a very sensible model. Now, when we teach the breaking ball, not everyone gets it. I think 1 out of every 15 kids, it clicks with their curveball. We teach them one, and in 2 months, they've got a really good one. That's very rare. I was lucky to be one of those kids. 8 pitching lessons in after learning my curveball, I had a very, very good one. But we have kids for 5 months out of the year in our pitching program, and the vast majority need 1 to 2 years to have anything at least average or slightly above average. So again, if you're not teaching your son a breaking ball until he's a junior, it's not even going to be close to good until he's a senior. And at that point, the recruiting process might be very far along, and he might have already signed at a lower school. Whereas then if you got that hammer as a senior, he's already committed in, maybe a really big school that would have been on his dream list is interested in him. So that's sort of our plan. Develop the changeup, learn the breaking ball, and then you can rely on the breaking ball when you're older.